Thank you.
Okay, noted, noted. But let me start first by asking you whether you feel we are the persons that are in authority are handling this matter properly.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. There are too many lapses. If you remember, when the incident happened, the Minister of Interior went to airport and misfired, attacking the wrong people instead of dealing with the people with the supervisory authority. Having worked with the BNI for many years and having worked within the security intelligence for almost 30 years now, I can tell you competently and authority that the approach is wrong, and that is why they are not getting results, and they decide to increase the numbers just to balloon it and assign roles and responsibilities to delay the time of the investigation. If you are familiar with airports, I have worked there many times as a BNI officer, and you know how some of these things are dragged. If the people they suspended are officers who work there, then you will want to find out who are the conniving external forces, which I'm not surprised they are tightly linked to politically exposed persons. So on the North Shore, I think politics is taking place, and they want to turn Terminal 3 just like they did with Terminal 2, where Ghana was ranked as a high destination for cocaine, drugs, and guns, and all manner of criminal activities across the group.
Are you suggesting, so who should have done, because I'm sure this is not the first time cocaine bus is being investigated. Usually, how is it supposed to be approached?
When a cocaine leakages appeared at airports and the international community pick it up, what they will ask is that they will want Interpol to intervene to pick up the suspects, whether they want, if we sign those protocols with them, and they will want the criminals involved to be repatriated or to be sent to Belgium to face trial there. If not, then they will want the police to deal with the case as precisely as possible and inform everybody involved. Everybody involved means that is Belgium and other key stakeholders within the chain of command. When the police take over, airport company become a touchable place because they are in charge of airports. Then the various departments within the airport, you have the BNI, you have immigration, you have customs, you have NACOP, and you have private security companies. You even have national security people there. They all become key stakeholders within the interview stages of the investigation. In that case, the police have control because that talks about prevention of crime and prevention of the using of the airport as a conduit to traffic cocaine out of the place. Having said that, because you have NACOP as an interested party at the airport, they will also start their own investigation. The BNI will want to look at what we did wrong. Immigration will want to look at whether did we do something wrong or we could have been more passive about what happened. Then airport company themselves. But overall, it should have been the police leading the investigation. The BNI will want to look at it again and say, let's broaden up each and every one of these institutions play a key role at the airport, and they can have interrelated activities going on. But the police should be leading the investigation and not politicians, because they might be highly comparable and they might be part of the people who push this through.
So the internal investigations under normal circumstances happen, but the proper investigation should be done by the police.
Exactly, because if a port company investigated their own people, that report is for the outcome of that investigation, and the final report is for internal decisions. And these decisions may lead to disciplinary action, for which we are told that they have interdicted somebody. If they decide to press charges, they want to prosecute, then it goes back to the police, isn't it? Because the police act on behalf of Attorney General. When they decide to prosecute, that is if the state is prosecuting you. And they liaise with whatever airport company might have done, and they will also liaise with whatever the BNM might have done or NACOP would have done. They will look at all those reports, and nothing stops them from interviewing these people again as part of their investigative processes. But if the state wants to prosecute, then it goes back to the police, because the police, under the authority of the Attorney General, will prosecute. Or the docket is sent to the Attorney General and they must prosecute. So that is what it is. Whatever they do is for their internal purposes. And those reports, besides prosecution, will end at the disciplinary table at the boardroom, where 30 people found culpable will be suspended or will be fired.
So the question is, who is handling the criminal aspect of this, which is the most important part for you?
That is what they are not saying. And you could see why they might not want to say it. And that is why when you are bringing a report to the public or you are speaking on national issues such as this, you have to be definite. And when the full facts are not made available to you, it's always important to be subjective. But if they made it available, they will be definite to say, this is what they should have done. So we are speaking about procedure and procedural, methodological procedural when it comes to investigation. So what is coming out from Brother Samuel Kujata Broka, if it's from the Ghana Company Authority, then that is their internal investigation. And even with that one, there are some level of issues with it, which is raising.
And I'll come with the issues you find with even the internal investigations. But as you speak now, in fact, I have gone back to the Ghana Police Service to check whether or not they've issued a statement on this matter at all. And so far, deafening silence. It looks like they've not been involved at all. What does that say?
I don't know the direction of what the investigative structure is and which they are dealing with it. I heard some names, and these names man some other sensitive investigative outlets out of the national security or working in conjunction with national security. And I know some of these people personally. So I don't know whether with the internal investigation they brought them in because they have some expertise or they are working as agents. But having said that, if that is the approach, then the police should be in there and the BNI should be in there. Even FIC, because money from cocaine comes down to come and finance political parties, and that is money laundering. They should be interested. Then Yoko should also be interested in the economic crime aspect of it, the organization of this whole deal. So these are the agencies, but I didn't hear FIC, anybody from FIC. I didn't hear the name of anybody from Yoko, and I didn't hear the name of anybody from the police. But some of the names I heard, I think there's one or two people I know, the man, some other sensitive national security outlets. And I don't know whether that is why they brought them in. Other than that, let's do it properly and create a straight line. Then everybody can follow the trail and follow the process. It makes life very easy for everybody. But I know, I'm not surprised that simple things look complex for the black man sometimes. And the more we add more layers to it, that is where it creates contradiction, and that is where fraud comes in, and that is where inconsistencies and discrepancies and distortions come in. So we start, either we start nicely, we end it up, and we mess it up. That is why we have messed up everything you can think of in this country.
I see. So far for you, what will this what you're saying is an internal investigation that might either lead to a suspension, firing, or whatever, but will never establish criminality or probe it to the point where we can find out whether this is the first time this has happened, if it has happened many times, or it's continuing at the airports. Can this investigation establish that?
Yeah, they wouldn't tell you that. To the extent that they interdicted them, it means that they found some level of involvement and accomplices, that you guys play a passive role and an active role in the movement of this cocaine. Either you were negligent, or you were directly involved, or you serve as a conduit. And they will determine whether is he criminal enough to be prosecuted, or if he just ends at the disciplinary table. And the options they have at the disciplinary is to sack you, is to interdict you, or to put you, hold your salary, like what they did, hold 1/3 of their salary, or many of those things. Those are things for key management of airport company to decide. And it is one of those ones they have decided for all of us.
I see. But you still expect the criminal investigations to happen and for us to be updated on how it is.
There is some element of criminality in it. If the police decide to prosecute, or even if they also decided to prosecute, they could create the leeway and prepare the docket as part of the investigation outcome, compare their notes with all the other agencies, and criminal investigations could lead to many of these ones. But you see, there are two outcomes of investigation. No, there are two purposes for investigation. One is for prosecution, and number two is to end up at the disciplinary table. They chose the second option instead of the first one.
But which institutions need to be answering questions as far as this is concerned? And how should they be responding to these questions?
It depends on who is asking the question and the type of questions you are asking. If you are asking NAFCO, you are the airport, what happened? They will give you the side of their story. If you ask immigration, they will give you the side of their story. If you ask customs, you check goods before they leave and when they come. They'll tell you their side of the what they did or what they know. If you ask the BNI at the airport, they will tell you. If you ask the national security, they will tell you. Then you will ask police, this is a crime. What have you done about it? Are they trigger your consciousness? Do you want to follow? Do you want to run with it? Then it depends on the questions, then the answers they provide. So it depends on who is asking the question and the type of questions we are asking and the answers that is expected.
Let me conclude then by asking what needs to change about this investigation immediately.
What we have done as a nation, the hypocrisy in this country is too much. Before President Mills became a president, Terminal 2 was ranked as a drug pushing area. It was ranked for all purposes of criminality, destinations, origin, and transit. What I think my big brother Babolati and Co did was that, if you remember, when President Mills won, they took him to the airport and he ran through the check. When he did that, it gave confidence to the boys who worked at the airport that if the president can subject himself for checking, then any other person who passes there should be subjected to. And it cleaned up the place because they use the VIP and abuse it, and they intimidate the boys and girls who work there. If you want to clean Terminal 3, as is looking now, then you need to do something drastic, or you need to realign when power changes hands or something. Are we surprised that cocaine turned into a powder overnight, even with the police? Those who are responsible for law and order have become lawless. And cocaine turned into powder. You guys didn't do anything about it. So many of the things we do in this country is so artificial that we know the solution, but we play around it for a very long time. And that is the problem with the black man. You see, the wise man will give the criminal more than us, but they subject themselves to the rules of the game. And when you are found culpable, you pay price. Let me add you this one. Boris Johnson passed a law that even when it comes to election, you do not have your card, the statutory procedure, you should be sent back. He was sent back as a prime minister. But here, a city member gave bribe publicly, and everybody saw it. The police have not acted up to today. And people are reading all meanings and saying all manner of things into it. And you have a national election ahead of you. You are setting the premises for all manner of things, and you come back and talk about it. I think consciousness will need to be washed again, because the way we are doing it, brother, it is not looking good.
In fact, I said I was going to conclude on that note, because there's a suggestion by Honorable Kujato Blackward that there should be an independent investigation. But he said that's what is being asked for.
That's the way it's supposed to be. And the independence is talking about other parliament subcommittee on what? Interior and defense or intelligence or something. They can take it up as an interest group. And the independence is talking about is referring to the police. Because the police is the state. And they are independent in doing many of these things. So that is the independence he's talking about. That is referring to the parliamentary group who might be interested in this, or the police, unless you want to set up a commission. And who sets up that commission is another thing. What the report of the commission will be used for is another wahala. And so those are the things we need to be looking out for. And as a nation, we are not so proactive. Let me give you this example. The man who set up the FIC, the Financial Intelligence Center, it was set up under President Bill. This is a man who worked with the BNI for many years to the very highest level. He's a lawyer and he's an economist who worked with the BNI for many years, not 20, not 30 years. Then he went to Bank of Ghana and set up the FIC. During President Mill's time, do you know that he received millions of dollars to the state? Millions of dollars to the state. under President Mills. When he was kicked out of the office, what they did to create problem for the FIC is to set up a board for them. So it's like you set up a board for the BNI, you kill the institution, and you've taken away the power of effectiveness from them. And that is why the FIC is not functioning. Other than that, they would have picked up this case because they have issues with money laundering and financial crime. And what did you do? You came and set up Office of the Special Prosecutor. So if you think Sami is talking about independence and they will give it to the Office of the Special Prosecutor, ask yourself, after the what has happened to the Office of the Special Prosecutor? We have bastardized this and we ran it down. And the man is taking salary. What has been his output? And what is his job right now? We set it wrongly because it's politics. And we put in people there and we create problems for them and they cannot function. It's a joke as a nation.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. KUMADOE, for speaking to us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Mr. Richard KUMADOE is a security consultant speaking to us this morning. Before we move on to anything, if you're having difficulties with your vision, your eyesight, yes, can you see clearly? Are you having persistent